as we can do. Smurfit Kappa. It makes a box for just about everything. If you've got some gifts and trinkets, then you will want one of these. If you've got fruit and goods, then perhaps a good flat box is what you need. And even you can pour your favourite beverages from this one. Now, what this all shows me is that this is an excellent company to tell me what's happening in the global economy, because their boxes shift about just about everything. The CEO, Tony Smurfit, is going to be with me after the break. The company is called Smurfit Kappa. You may not have heard of it, but it's a packaging company. And at first glance, it seems rather simple, like the boxes it makes. But if you peek inside its earnings, a bit like delivery companies, you'll learn a lot about the global economy. So, for instance, earlier this month, it reported a 5% dip in net profits. Now, that sounds bad enough, but the company says it's partly because it made so much money during the great recovery of 2022, pent-up demand in global markets. Also, shipping volumes this year are very low by contrast, and that's arguably because you know, there is a slowdown that we've talked about in the global economy. The company has remained confident about its future, and then you have all the issues that become more manageable. For example, market conditions, all the things that it can and it can't control, both in the manufacture of its products, in its customers' products, and in the global economy. Which is why I'm delighted that we have for the first time Tony Smurfit on the programme, the CEO, who joins me from Dublin. Sir, thank you, sir. Look, let's get straight to the heart of it. Your company, because it makes the packaging that other people use, what is it telling you about what's happening in the global economy?
Hi, Richard, and thanks for having me on. I think what has been very illuminating for us is that we had massive demand during the COVID period. We had never seen such significant growth in our business across the world. And in a sense, this year it is really reversed, because people are not spending their money on their houses and on durables. They're spending their money on travel, as you'll see from airports and hotels. So there's been a tremendous shift in spending patterns over the last 3 years. And so what we've seen this year, I mean, this is the second best first half in our history by a long shot. And so we're very proud of what we've done, despite some of the challenges. And it's a function of how we position the company. We're in 36 countries, with 48,000 people in the company. And we position the company really, really very well over the last period of time to make sure that we're able to capture some of the really big macro trends in growth for our business. And they're mainly in sustainable packaging, because, obviously the world wants to move and needs to move away from fossil-based packaging and towards our packaging, which is, as I say, sustainable. And then, of course, the whole e-commerce trend has been a massive trend.
Let's break this up. Let's break this up, if we may, just a bit. On this question of the sustainable packaging, the various ESG measures, we're coming up to COP28, and I know you've been critical of the UK government and its carbon capture plans that it recently announced. The issue of sustainability, are we in real danger now of greenwashing left, right and centre?
Of course we are, and the companies like mine should never do that. I mean, we have to invest in real, tangible reductions in our carbon and our wastewater to make sure that everything that we emit going forward is cleaner and better and better for the planet. And if we don't do that, we're only fooling ourselves. So we in Smurfit Kappa have been very clear on that for the last 16, 18 years since we've been producing our reports. And I think we've made progress. There's a lot more to do, and there's obviously new technologies that need to come into being to allow us to really get to become carbon neutral. But greenwashing is just an excuse, really.
Okay, it's an excuse not to do what is necessary. But I often think when I look at packaging, there must be a better way. But of course, there probably isn't. You know, I mean, I think many of us are familiar with big packets and small parcels, so to speak. Thankfully, one major distributor is no longer quite putting out an orange in a bottle in a big box. But what is the answer? Because you do have to package the stuff, and it has to be safe, and it has to be secure, and it has to be valid.
Absolutely. Well, the answer, you know, in our case, we have over 1,000 designers across the world to make sure that packaging is fit for purpose and to make sure that we package in the lightest way possible, right, making sure that you use the least amount of materials and making sure that, you know, the package fits the product. I mean, anything is waste is bad, Richard. Any waste is bad. So waste in corrugated packaging is bad, and that's what we try to eliminate. What we're really focused on in our company, and I know other companies are as well, but you know, we'd like to consider ourselves the leader in this, is really making sure that we understand what the customer's pain is, and to make sure that we package those products exactly right for them and exactly right to make sure that they meet their own objectives in sustainable packaging.
So as you look out, I mean, inflation is now coming down, which means your own cost inputs are coming down as well, although I suspect fuel is still quite a component. What is it that you worry about? Is it, for example, like the UK, higher interest rates, more expensive mortgages, cutting back on discretionary spend, therefore companies buy less of your product because they don't need it as much?
Well, obviously, inflation is really bad news, and clearly that needs to come down. I was delighted to listen to your report a few minutes ago to see that it's coming down in the United States. It needs to come down. It's coming down in certain European countries, but not in others. Inflation coming down will mean interest rates coming down, and when that happens, you know, the good news is cookers wear out, TVs wear out, durables wear out, and they need to be replaced. Houses need to get built. There's, as you know, a large housing crisis in the United Kingdom and many countries where there needs to be a lot more housing put in, and that means durables, and that means boxes.
Have you ever met something you couldn't package or box?
Absolutely not.
Oh, there's
we can do anything. We can do anything, Richard.
Yeah, I feel the gauntlet has been thrown. I tell you, we'll talk again. Great. Thank you. Nice to have you on for the first time. We'll certainly be back with you again.